Word.
I could change the other stuff too.
Got it.
Rolling up. Yeah, man, I'm excited to hear all of this.
I read the article and now I have so many questions.
I love it.
Like, it's awesome. Like, there's stuff that I read in there that I was just like, oh, wow, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, I didn't see it from this perspective. All right, that's cool.
All right, so let me do that. Cool. And
live.
As soon as you're done with that, Andy, we'll go.
All right. Copy link. Disaster party.
Yeah, dude, literally, I was like that place where you have all those rocks with the little statue thing. I don't know what it's called. So if I'm
Opus
like
40. Opus 40.
Okay, Opus 40. Yeah, I was like, that would be such a cool fucking wedding venue.
I tried to do events there, and that's a long story clusterfuck, which we can talk about too.
Okay, because that have you ever seen a picture of that, Andy?
I think so.
It's like a cool place. So you don't do anything with that area right now? Oh no, we'll talk about it. All right, you done, Andy?
I'm just about done. Paste.
Okay.
Done. YouTube live. I'll tag him. Boom.
You could tag the page too.
Oh yeah, we do follow it. We're following it now.
Hudson Valley Nightlife. Bang. Tag both. All right, and we are up.
Cool.
Boom.
All right, 61. You got it?
61.
1
down.
2 3. Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Stanio, joined by my co-host.
Oh, daddy, it's your boy Andy Bivians. It's BIVIANS, the one true, oh, daddy, and your American icon of Bivians, INC. Listen, tonight's episode, we ain't done. We about to have some fun, because we on episode 61. Whoa, daddy.
Whoa, daddy is all right. Today, we have a special guest, someone that we've known for a very long time. We've watched this gentleman grow up from a young pup to now an entrepreneur, which we always knew he was going to be.
Facts.
And the owner, creator of Hudson Valley Nightlife, ARICK. What's going on, man?
How's it going on, everybody? It's good to see you guys. I haven't talked to you in so long.
I know, it's
been a minute.
I think our lives changed when we all kind of were like, do we still have to do these bus trips or what?
Facts. Oh, big facts.
Yeah, I think that's when we were like, oh wait, we used to see these people all the time. Oh, we're not doing these bus trips anymore. So that was probably why.
That was a couple years ago too.
Yeah, and then the pandemic hit, so it's just been a little.
I know.
So today,
3 years gone in a blink of an eye.
Oh yeah, dude.
Right.
I mean, I tell Andy all the time, I'm like, Banks was born in October 2019. Pandemic hit February 2020. So he's like literally has not known anything but the pandemic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you and Hudson Valley Nightlife. I know it was something that Andy and I were interested in learning about. And then we read an article which kind of explained a little bit. And I love the idea because for me, when I was in, and I'm going to set this up for you right now. When I was in my 20 to 30 or 27, so that's 7 years, I was out all the time. Yeah, and then it got to a point, people were like, you can't go out anymore. You need responsibility. You can't be going partying every night. You're wasting too much money. You're having too much fun. You got to slow down.
Yeah, and I think the key point there is that somebody told you that, and it did not come from you.
Exactly.
Facts. Big facts.
Exactly, yeah. So to kind of set it up how this happened, Hudson Valley Nightlife it's an event promotion lifestyle brand that I'm using to kind of as an example for a new narrative in the way one enjoys themselves. And the way that it was created is my great grandfather was Harvey Feit, and he built a large bluestone sculpture in upstate New York, and there's a house there directly next to it. And my grandparents allowed me to take it over for about 6 to 8 months, and I tried throwing a couple of events there, parties, different things of that nature, fire spinning, all different kinds of things. And the events went fantastic. There was no problems, but because we couldn't get along with the neighbors and a bunch of other things, it wasn't possible for me to continue doing events there at what we called the Fight House. So when that ended, I started this brand because, promoting events is still important to me. The drag community is still important to me. Pleasure, luxury, nightlife events, all of these things are still important to me. So I created this brand kind of by accident, because this last summer, I went to so many different events. Flyers were constantly being sent to me, and it was a lot. And I felt very well informed, yet I was still confused. So I was like, why isn't there a hub for everything that's going on, from, things for a couple hours in the evening to all night events to 3-day events? Like, why isn't there a hub so that anything in the Hudson Valley from Albany to Westchester, what's going on? So I created that. I created the Instagram and Facebook pages. I just started reposting all the flyers for events that I could find.
I actually just saw that today. That's cool.
Yeah, so I've been reposting all these flyers, and it kind of evolved out of that into, then I started taking pictures of people while they were out. I started editing videos, connecting with the artists and the DJs and the drag queens and all of these great, wonderful people. And now it's more than that. It's evolved into a brand. It's evolved into a lifestyle. I just bought 5,000 Hudson Valley Nightlife stickers that I've been giving out, and people love wearing them and putting them on things, on their fridge. And it's just, it's crazy how fast it's growing. And one of my favorite things about it is that it's so self-explanatory. It's not like it's minutia events. It's not my last name. It's very clear. It's Hudson Valley Nightlife. It's a commodity, but yet it has a brand associated with it.
That's crazy. And you said you were taking pictures and you were editing, and I remember reading in the article you were saying you were doing a lot of stuff for artists where like you were saving them money, but also, getting their name out and stuff like that. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, I edit all the videos myself and takes the pictures, and that can be, a 60-second promo video. Someone can charge you $300-500 just for that, and I do them all day long for free. And that's just because I love to do it, and it's super simple, and I don't overcomplicate it. But yeah, I can churn things out really fast.
That's awesome. I mean, I love the idea, to be honest, because like, again, I don't really go out as much now that I'm a dad, but I probably should start, doing things for me now that he's getting older. But even when I was going out, that like 7-8 year period that I was out, literally, no joke, there was 2 years I was out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And the only nights I didn't go out was like Sunday and Monday. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it was like this thing of, I'm going to go to the places that I know. And I don't know if there's any events, I'm just going to go. But the fact that what you're offering to people is like you're showing the different events going on in the different areas. So let's just say I'm sitting at home. I'm like, I know I'm going to go out tonight. Do I want to go to the same bar, the same club every single day? No. Wow. Look at this event that's going on here. Like, that's just a cool concept to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it works really well. People respond to it really well. And there's just so much confusion. Like you just said, you go out all the time to these same different places. And a lot of people complain that there's nothing going on, but there's like 20 events going on all the time, every week. And by highlighting them, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy because I literally just had this conversation with a couple of my friends too, of like, we all, like Rob said, we always go out to the same places. You're always, seeing the same people. Sometimes you kind of just want to change scenery and get out there, but you never know where to go or where to start. I think your brand almost multiplies that for people, where it's just like, hey, I kind of want to try this new area. Oh, hey, this is what's going on, so it gives them a new place to go to. I think that's awesome.
To add on to that.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to add on to that, I know, like, and under what Andy does, I used to get those flyers from different people because, again, I'm like, we're all three of us are very similar. We're all very people person, and we always interact. We make friends everywhere, kind of thing. So at the point I was going out, I was meeting the DJs, I was meeting the club promoters
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And I would get all these flyers from all these different people, and I'd be like, oh my God, enough. Or I'd get tagged in those Facebook posts, and they would tag like 400 people. And then I just get all these notifications. I'm like, oh, stop. But the fact that like it's just in one place, you're not getting bombarded. It's
exactly,
where
because
you want to look.
Even the method that you're saying, that's effective. If every DJ and every artist, if every event was effective at getting their flyers out, which most are not, but even if they were, it's still confusing, because then you have 18 messages all over the place from different social media platforms that it's hard to keep track of, even if you're good at it and the communication is clear, which it usually isn't. That's why. So on Instagram, what I did is the highlights of all the highlight reels are literally just the dates of everything for the next like 3 to 4 months. And every time I find a flyer, I'll find them periodically. I'll repost them and then throw it on the highlights. So for January 30th, you can see that there's 6 events in these six locations.
Wow.
And it makes it super simple. And it doesn't even take that much work. I just have to go out and find them and repost them. It's just simply the fact that they're all in one place, which makes it super easy, super low maintenance, and a lot simpler.
Wow. So do these people pay you or give you props for reposting their stuff and kind of organizing it for them? Because I'm sure it's giving them more traffic, which then in turn will have a bar go, wow, you got a big crowd today, I want to bring you back. So there's got to be some kind of...
Yeah, so not yet. We're not there yet, but what you said is exactly what the goal is. But essentially, we're promoting all these events, the DJs, the artists, the drag shows, whatever, and we are drawing traffic there. And I'm taking my plan is to take this winter to do all of this for free, so that comes spring, I'm actually in the process with a few other organizers we're throwing a big event in the end of April, early May, and that'll be a paid event with tickets and all of the above. So that'll be the first thing that I'm doing that's going to be a money maker. And then after that, if I can put a ticket link on my Instagram or Facebook story with the code HVNL or something like that, I can post an event and post your ticket link and prove to you how many tickets I sold through that ticket link with a 10% off or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I can go to different venues and say, hey, listen, I posted your event on my story and an extra 65 people showed up. That's worth something. And I'm just not quite there yet, because I want to take this opportunity to just grow virally as fast as possible, to get the following, do it all for free for however long it takes, and then go to that point. And then there's another revenue stream, like the sweatshirts, like I'm wearing one right now, sweatshirts, hats, t-shirts. People love it because it's so self-explanatory and everybody wants it without question.
I think I want one of those hoodies though.
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, we'll make that work.
Fast.
That's for sure. So another thing you just said, the drag stuff, right? I think that stuff's cool. In that 7-8 years that I was out all the time, I ended up at some drag parties. Again, it wasn't anything that I expected to be at, but it was a good time. It was different. It was a little unique, and maybe at the time I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't know what was happening, but I had a great time, a lot of fun. But I know for a fact that like a lot of those kind of things are very limited in the places. Like I from back then, like Union over on Market Street, right, in Poughkeepsie, they would have never done a drag show, like, because it wasn't their thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like that does limit a lot of different places from. So the fact that you're even helping that section, which is a lot of fun. I mean, people probably judge it or prejudge before ever being or experiencing it, but that's cool that you're also, pushing that also, because it's a good time.
Exactly, it really is. And like what came to mind is like in New Paltz is where I've been spending a lot of my time, and there's like 4 or 5 main bars where people hang out, and the 2 bars at the beginning of the street are where the majority of the typical bar nightlife is, and then down a ways is the bar where usually the drag shows happen.
Is that the Red Barn?
I'm sorry?
Is that Red Barn?
No, it's the place I'm talking about is Bacchus, and then there's P&G's and McGillicuddy's. Those 3 are in New Paltz. And but anyway, the point of the story was I had a friend we left the one bar that's like more typical bar DJ scene and walked down the street 100 feet to the other bar where there was a drag show happening. The New Paltz drag community is huge, and they have shows all the time. Like there's no scarcity of that. And this person that has gone to this bar every week for years has never been to a drag show that was down the street in the other bar.
Wow.
And I don't know.
Crazy.
I mean, that must happen. That must happen all the time. People just don't even know about it. So me simply posting a 10-second Instagram story of the drag show happening, and then people are up the road like, what's going on down there? Like, it's crazy. The people, the lack of informity, even when everyone's 200 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's big and huge on that too, and I even read it in the article, and it kind of opened my eyes too. Is like they're independent performers, you know, just like wrestlers, where, you know, if they don't have a booking or if they don't have a show, they're not getting paid, and 9 times out of 10, that's their livelihood. So by you bringing in more people to their show and they're getting more revenue, you know, that you're putting more money into their pockets, I think that's a huge deal, especially now with everything going on and certain shows not happening. Like the shows that are happening, like you're helping kind of like fund that.
Exactly. And let's say an event starts at 11 o'clock and I get there like 11:30. It's starting to build up, and then I post a bunch of videos, and then people are at home debating whether or not they go out, and I've just changed their mind because they see it's actually getting exciting. And that's another key point here, is the fact that you can kind of get a taste of what's going on before you even get out.
And I will vouch for that, because that works. There's been plenty of times that I'd be like, I'm not going out tonight. And then I see like someone's Snapchat or Instagram. Well, no, back there was no Instagram stories. So Snapchat, I'd be like, yo, that shit looks fun. Let's go to that place. Look how much fun they're having. And then I'd end up going out because of the story.
Exactly.
Rob used to do that to me all the time.
Yeah, that concept, but like reliable, so you can see it all the time. Reliability is also key.
Yeah.
Facts. Rob used to do that to me all the time. I'd be sitting home like, I'm not going out. Like, I'm done. It's cool. All of a sudden, he'll send like a picture, like a video, and be like, yo, look what's happening. I'll be like, damn, I'll see you in 15. All right.
Yeah.
And then he'd be out the latest than everybody else.
Yeah, then I'm shutting bars down.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
So
yes, go ahead.
It's crazy, like when you think about it though, like you're a promoter, you're a storyteller, because you literally tell the stories of all these different events, and you're also bringing new eyes to like different places. Like it's a huge deal you're building here.
I usually consider myself a facilitator, because there's these events that are happening, there's the talent that wants to do their thing, whatever it is, there's a location, and then there's people that want to have a good time. And I just want to facilitate that happening. Make sure the environment's safe. Make sure it's warm or cold, depending on whatever the time of year is. Make sure that that the information is clearly given to you in enough time that you can plan for it. Like all of the elements that go into having a group of people have a good time. That's what I want to do. I want to facilitate.
That's awesome. I'm going to jump onto that one, because like we said earlier, when I used to go out, there was a time period that I said to myself, I'm not drinking. And it was like 8 months that I didn't drink or do drugs. It was just straight sober. And I would go out to the bars or clubs, and I would have a fucking great time. But that's just me. And people would be like, you're not drinking? And then start like, you know, making fun of me or trying to force a drink or try to force some drugs. And I'm like, listen, I can have a good time without any of that. I'm sorry that you can't, but I'm not going to. And the fact that you're saying you want to just make sure that people are having a good time no matter what, I know that the article said that whether they're drinking or not, I think that's huge.
Yeah,
Facts.
exactly. You know, normalizing that, for one, like you just said, people always they often try to push that onto you, not even with bad intentions, like not even negative peer pressure, but it's just like people can't understand it. And for me, like I've never had a sip of alcohol, any substance whatsoever, or done any of that in my entire life. And I'm happy and I enjoy myself at events, and I'm completely sober. And dozens of people have said, like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how is it that you're so relaxed, or whatever it is. And I just think that the more people that do that, the more normal it can be. And I'm not pitching that all of a sudden people should stop drinking or do drugs or anything. I'm just saying, if that's not your vibe for that night, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't affect anything that's going on. It doesn't affect how much fun that you can have. And like the way that I show that to people is by saying the words and putting it out there on content, and taking videos of people drinking water and not drinking at all, just showing the narrative, like painting the picture for what's possible. Like I said, it's a new narrative for the way in which one enjoys themselves. You know, it can be all of the above. You can mix and match what pieces you want.
That's dope.
awesome. I think it's awesome.
That's dope. I've always been the one to be like, I'm going out tonight and I'm getting fucked up, and every single time that's exactly what I did.
That's wonderful. And that, so like, let's play. That's the opposite, right? So let's say you want to do that. Fine. Okay. Do you work the next day? Yes. That's okay. Do you go in early? Do you go in late? What are you going to be? Do you have a clear ride home, or are you going to waste 45 minutes figuring out a ride home? Did you get your stuff in order for the next day? Like simple, dumb things that will make the, you know, if you leave at 4 a.m., that will make your 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. experience less miserable, so that you don't regret the whole experience. I can't even tell you how many people, I can't even tell you how many people that are like, I went out and I don't remember anything I did, and I regretted it the next day. So what the hell was the point? What did you gain from that? What did you gain?
Then it's not a good time. It's not a good time at that point.
It's not a good time. I mean, so just
Wow.
if you're gonna get shit faced, go ahead, plan out your day. You know, plan it out so that it works for you. Take care of yourself. If your plan is to get drunk and then sleep all day because it's your day off, and then you're gonna take care of yourself and hit the gym, like, fantastic, because it did not affect your mental health and it did not affect your financial health or anything. If that's your plan, just do it, but just be more mindful about it.
That is awesome.
100%.
There's been plenty of nights that I'm like, I'm never drinking again.
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't go out. And then I don't go out for a couple of weeks.
Well, I was just going to say jokingly that usually that conversation happens in people's mind on Sunday morning, and then they're out again on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like it lasts
Facts.
a couple days. And that's because we have this idea of all or nothing, right? Because that's usually how we think. I'm either going to do it all or not at all.
True.
It's that you only live once mentality that hit everybody of, I'm going out. This is the last time I'm going out. And then you wake up the next day, I'm never going out again. And then that Wednesday, hey, karaoke. All right, I'll go out.
But it really is one of those things that, like, when you go out consistently, it's like almost becomes normal. And you're like you just said, I'm either all in or all out, right? And again, from my own experiences, when I was in, I was all in, and then it just stopped. It just stopped, and it's not. I'm not regretting it or anything like that. It just stopped, and it literally is all or nothing in that sense. But the fact that you're trying to make it not that, you're trying to make it like you can come in when you want and everyone's welcome, or age, alcohol, sobriety, whatever the case is. You want to do it at 5 o'clock?
You know, amount of time. You can go out for 30 minutes if you want. I mean, it's crazy. Like for example, I was out last night and I was really only out from 12 to 2, and then I drove home. And it's amazing how long that 2 hours can feel, right? So you don't need the 8 hours, or you don't need all night long.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I really like how I was saying, like, the age thing, because again, reality here. If I were to go to, let's say, P&G's, I'm gonna look like the old man there.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, I'd walk in, and I would go, everyone is a baby here. And then everyone look at me and go, look at that old man. And then I'd be like, let's go find somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're trying to integrate it of all ages, that's cool. Because again, there's times that I do want to go out, but then I'm like, where does someone who's 34 go out?
Yeah, so it's a matter of like integrating and making spaces more welcome to the best of my ability, but also showing you what events might make the most sense. Like, for example, in Lake Katrine, close to me, there's this place that does a 25 and over night, or they specifically have a 25 and over night. So just letting people know that, where there might be a little bit more of an older crowd. But yeah, so, and eliminating the societal restrictions on age that don't make any sense as well. Because the whole walking into a bar and thinking everyone's a baby, like, that should be played with too, because is that like, do you personally care? Does it only care to society? Like, where is that coming from? Are you physically uncomfortable being in there? Because if so, well then yeah, go find another place. But if it's just like magically made up, like I'm 21 and nobody would ever guess that I'm 21. Like the age thing is it's all made up and fabricated.
Yeah, I would say from you saying that, it's definitely a societal thing, because to me it's like I'm not there for those other people.
Yeah, you're there because you're there because you brought 6 or 7 other people or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're hanging out with them. It has nothing to do with the other people that are there.
Yeah,
Necessarily.
exactly. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is like it's like mental too, because like I remember we used to go out and Francis would play, and after he's done we'd be like, all right, we'll chill and like we'll have a couple beers or whatever, and then like the Saturday night nightlife would start coming in, and I'd be like, yo, I feel like the old man in the bar right now. Like I feel like mentally I feel like I'm like 85 years old and I'm surrounded by a bunch of like 21-year-olds. Like, and I think like when people feel that way, they're just like, I kind of don't want to go out. But the fact that you're saying like there's certain stuff where it's like, hey, it's this age to this age, or this is going on. I think that's huge too for people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I definitely Shawnee D is like that. He'll be like, I'm not going to a club, I'm too old. It's like, but you could. And then you know what happens, Eric? It comes to the point that you get to a certain age that you don't feel like you should go to a club. But again, you're trying to fix that. Then the only time you end up going out dancing is when you go to weddings.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. How many 50-year-old couples do you see at a club dancing?
Yeah.
Just dancing.
Yeah.
You don't. But they dance at a wedding.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, because like there may or may not be an answer for this, but it's like we have this imposed idea that partying, fun, let's just call it fun, is for people in their 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I mean, I can't disprove or prove that, but I'm just like, where did that come from, and how can we let that be possible? Like how is it that the human race can allow that to be possible, and what can we do to make it more accessible to everybody in all age ranges? So that's where I'm trying to come up with things. I'm not the overlord of whatever that looks like, but we can't let that be the case. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's definitely society, man. I mean, get out of college, your fun stops, you got to go to work, 9 to 5, that whole bullshit that everyone feeds.
The Matrix.
But it really comes down to
somebody told us that, and if they didn't, it wouldn't occur to us.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. And
it's
I think
a societal norm
with New Year's too. Like a lot of people older don't want to go out for New Year's because it's kind of like a party, like younger scene type deal. They'd rather like stay home or like have a house party at home as well. But I think if they knew of a place where they can go, where they can realize like, it's okay, it's acceptable to go out at a certain age and still have fun and still dance, I think they'd be more inclined to.
Exactly. And it's not that I'm necessarily making events like more accepting. Like the event, it's already acceptable. Like I'm not making anything acceptable. All I'm doing is taking pictures and videos and showing that it's possible, like in real time. That's all that's happening, right?
Yeah.
It's just eliminating the thoughts in your mind. When you actually see it, it's like, wow, that can be possible for me. Like, perfect example. One of the best things I did about a month ago was freezing in New Paltz. I saw people standing outside in the lines to get in these bars, freezing, right? And I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I literally brought 6 blankets in my car, parked right outside the front, and I handed out blankets to everybody that was cold waiting outside. Wow. And that hits a bunch of key points, right? It's like, I'm worthy of being warm. I'm worthy of pleasure and luxury, and it's accessible and available for me, because most people would just like suffer and not think that there's a solution and just say, oh, that's the way it is when you go out and it's December. But no, like you can plan these things out to make it more pleasurable for you. And that's a key thing that's very important to me.
No, wow. That's really cool. I remember those those days, like waiting outside Mahoney's with like 4 or 5 jackets on, like triple layered. And then I'd be like, oh man. And then I finally get in. My energy is already sucked down because I'm like, man, I'm so cold. And then it's
Yeah.
either one of two things. One, I'm like, I'm just gonna go have multiple drinks right now to like really, wake myself back up, or then just my mood's dampened for the rest of the night.
Exactly. And the fact that I did that representing, it wasn't just me, I was representing this, it makes people feel like somebody's there for them, and that there's like that there's an infrastructure out there. Someone's looking out for me. They want this experience to be good. And that doesn't happen that many events. And that can change that can change the course of the whole night, that I did that potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're giving value to people, you're going above and beyond. Like, nobody's asking you to do this. You're doing this because you genuinely care for other people and want people to have, a good time.
I care more. Like, I want people to believe and understand that they're worthy of having the things. That's the most important. It's like give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. It's like, I can keep you warm for now, but understand that you're worthy of this luxury all the time. And that, that goes to everything. Like, I know tons of people in New Paltz that walk home like half a mile. That's fine. That's none of my business. But like, you are worthy of getting a safe ride home every night, period. If you choose to walk home, that is your choice. But just because you can't afford a car or whatever it is, does not mean that you're not worthy of your body getting transported from the bar to your house. And that needs to be a conviction in your mind that that's possible and that you're worthy of that.
Dude, imagine if you expanded into, like, I know there's Ubers and stuff like that, but imagine if you expanded into almost like a Hudson Valley Nightlife, like, shuttle.
Yeah, I mean,
the
applications are literally endless. And to that point, I've thought that Hudson Valley Nightlife is essentially all the pieces to the puzzle except the event itself.
Yeah.
The getting there, getting home, like experience and safety while you're there, where you step outside to get like a chill space and relax, like all of these other things, how you get informed about the event. And I'm just facilitating the event that's happening.
So 2 questions with that. One is, when you say safety, how does that play like a role? Because and here's an experience. For me. I went to a bar in Albany one time. I was the only one of age, so I was like 21, 22. Everyone else I was with was like 19, 20. The upstairs of the bar was 21 up. Downstairs was everyone else. I went upstairs to grab a drink. The bar was busy. I started talking to people like I do. And I turned, my drink was here. I drank the drink before I went back. So in a couple of minutes. And when I went back downstairs, blacked out, and someone like roofied me.
Mm-hmm.
So like, is that what you're saying, like safety wise? Because like,
so I mean, I would say
that shit happens to people all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Safety could be something like that. It can mean emotional safety, like, are people being disrespectful or unkind? It can mean a bunch of different things. Safety is many things. Safety could mean walking home and getting home safely. But to that, I mean, it would be very difficult and probably unwise for anyone to say like that we're going to make sure that you don't get roofied, or we're going to make sure that you don't get kidnapped and raped in the back of a van.
Yeah.
That's difficult. But I would say the infrastructure that I want to put in place right now, it's just me and a couple people that are working with me and helping me. A sober figure out looking, watching. So perhaps I would have seen that happen and I would have told you, right? So just having an extra set of eyes. For a big event, I would hire security, and I would say your job is obviously to do your job and just scan and make sure that things are okay. But having a sober entity anywhere at any event, I think, is a good idea to prevent things like that. I watch all the time. I'm like, is this person getting home safely? And just scanning, just constantly scanning. So that's what I would mean for safety. Another element of safety. I had 2 queer friends. They left one of the bars and walked down to the other, and they told me that somebody punched the other person in the face. And I don't know if it was because they were queer or not. I don't know what the situation was, but an example of how I can show up is like, you tell me if that happens again, and I will say something. And that, I mean, that anybody can do that, but that's another way to do it. Just showing people that they're not alone and that you'll do something, because sometimes that's all they need to hear, is know that they're not alone, because we put on all this armor and we feel so isolated when we go out, and we're like, I can't lose my wallet, I can't put my phone down, someone's going to steal something, everyone's going to rob me simultaneously. And I'm just like, where is that even coming from? Because I bet you won't get robbed. You probably won't.
Yeah.
And just kind of relaxing a little bit. Or like, why are you going to places that make you feel like you're going to get robbed all the time? You know what I mean? So there's like two different sides to it.
I think that
That's
comes
awesome.
from pretty much like fear-based, or like somebody else had an experience that like they're not doing it to be like a dick, but they're like, they love you and they don't want the same thing to happen to you to happen to them, so they're projecting their fears onto you. Then when you go to the spot, you might not think like you're in danger, but then you have that little voice in the back of your head of, oh, so and so said this happened here, I might get robbed, I might get you know what I mean? I think a lot of that comes from like that spiraling down, trickling down into like other people through word of mouth and stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
I think the reason why I was asking that, because of the story, and I don't care about sharing stories like that, but also like I've been to a lot of bars, clubs that the nicest way possible is that the security is not really watching, and they're either flirting with girls or having drinks themselves, or outside smoking a cigarette. So here's another story of mine, because I have so many of them. Do you remember? Do you remember like in 2014, maybe 15, on New Year's Eve, someone got shot in Mahoney's?
I was there.
I was there. I was 2 feet away from the guy. The guy was here who got shot. I was right here.
Yeah, I was upstairs. I was going downstairs when all the lights came on.
Yeah, someone got shot 5 feet away from me, and I was so drunk I didn't even know what was going on. My friends are yelling at me to leave. The bouncers are nowhere to be found. Everyone's just running out. No one's directing. Like, again, that's a very extreme, example. But at least someone like yourself or your little crew is now watching, at least giving some more heads up, like actual sober eyes, that their intention is to help, and not just like a big muscular or big guy just standing there going ID. It's just a different concept too.
So I mean, I would say sober security that's actually watching and doing their jobs is critical and key for sure.
Agreed.
To help to help with things like that. And I know that any event that I produce and help create, I have a good security company that I work with, and I trust them, and they do a great job. So that's more have one or two more guys than you need, and obviously they shouldn't be drinking or being weird. That doesn't make any sense. So that's a key point there.
Yeah. So then
Awesome.
My second part to that question is, how does the venues work with you? Like, do you just go, like, just say like last night you were at P&G's, right? For like 2 hours. Were you
I was
there?
I was there in the bar across the street. So essentially I just show up and I don't really have to do much explaining. I'm holding the camera. They get it. And I'm just like, I'm here to take videos. I'm here to promote, very minimal conversation. I get into most of the places for free, and eventually they stop checking ID and all that crap. And then I'm in, and then it's simple. So building the relationship with all the managers and the employees is super helpful. All the DJs is super helpful. And just constantly showing up and being there.
I mean, with like the security and stuff, like you have a bunch of people just going in, like watching people, and the manager's
not there yet, right? Not as like organized as that. I have a few friends that come with me, and we're all there for the same reason, to like hand out stickers, to meet people, to take pictures, and then like as a subset of that, we're also just keeping our eyes peeled in general. But I desperately want to get to the point where there's like 5 or 6 of me like out, and there's like a squad of people just scanning the whole situation.
Oh, okay. But that's cool though, that they're essentially maybe not working with you yet, but they're getting to know you, they're getting familiar with you, you're building their relationship. So that point that you want to pull that trigger, right? The left, right jab.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's because I'm exactly, because then when I get to that stage, I can say, hey, XYZ club, I'm asking for this now. Like, I need this. I need you to let me do this or plan this event or whatever.
Yeah.
And also in terms of me going out with like a squad of people, like that's only scalable to a degree, but it's also about building like a culture of safety and intimacy and all of these things, right? So I talk about consent a lot on the pages, right? So you get people's attention with flashy images and videos. It works every time. And then you flood it with positive propaganda on the things that you want to educate them about. So
That's
in the
awesome.
same thread is, you know, oh, this is the fun we had. This is someone doing a drag performance. This is a DJ playing loud music. This is this. Oh, consent is required. You know, oh, then something about taking care of yourself. And then another video of somebody dancing, right? So it's just like constantly showing the narrative of like, we're having a great time. We're taking care of ourselves. Consent is important. Let's not be dicks. Like all of the above,
That's
all
awesome.
at once in the same place.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
I think the coolest part about that is your brand is, without even realizing, building a giant umbrella to help other brands, but their brand itself is actually helping your brand just expand even bigger. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm not competing with anybody, and we're just pouring gasoline on our own fires. I'm not competing with anybody because I'm not an artist. I'm not a DJ. I'm not a venue. I'm none of the above. Yet we can all promote each other. It works perfectly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so true though. Because you could, yeah. Because and then the more relationship you build, you could then connect all these people together. Hey, DJ A, this club B lost their DJ today because of COVID. You're not working. Boom, here's a spot.
Exactly.
This here.
Exactly.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Exactly. And
Being
it's already
valuable and resourceful.
it already is happening. Like I already have connections. Like I've been really going hard in New Paltz. I've been going in a few other places. Next, I'm going to start hitting like the Marist area, that college town area, and then Newburgh and all of the and Newburgh and Poughkeepsie, obviously. Like I'm going to hit areas really hard and kind of get like a strong presence there because it's getting to the point where people recognize the brand and they're excited about it. So I want to get there. I want people to remember because at first it was like, what is this? This is weird. And then it was, give me a sticker, please. Like, and it didn't take that long. It didn't take that long.
You're gonna have to let us know when you're in Poughkeepsie.
I
Facts.
will. Yeah, no, maybe I'll plan something soon and we can all go. That'd be fun.
Because I'm
I'm
only
1,000% down.
I'm walking distance from Mahoney's.
I think at one time you told me that you were going to take me out for my 21st birthday. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I still owe you that. You're 21 now. Oh no, we talked about that a lot, and then
Oh, I remember that.
That was like 6 years ago, though. That was a long time.
yeah,
That's true.
You know, the bus trip stopped, and
Yeah.
but now, yeah,
I remember having a beer being like, one day, this second one I'm going to give to you. But for now, and I put the bottle over, I'm going to drink this one myself and hold on to it.
but here's the thing: you don't drink, but we can still go out with you.
We can still go out and have a good time, though.
Yeah, you just have to let us know when you're coming to PK because you got to think. I got a kid, and you know the wifey, so I kind of have to. I can't just be like, "Hey, honey, I'm going to the bar tonight." Got to give her a little.
So that was. I'm glad you just mentioned that because that was my other big idea I thought of. I was like, what if when there's a big event that like there's a mobile childcare center.
Yo, yo, hold on.
It could work.
Time out.
Most young kids have like 7 to 8 o'clock bedtime, so it's not like you're gonna take them out to go put them in daycare, but in the little, during the day or a weekend event.
There's an event. No, but like it could seriously work because it's totally legal to do short term, like a few hours with a daycare, and you have. Like I'll just do an example because everything's close in the city. Like you're at a party in Brooklyn, and there has to be like a hotel or something nearby where you're at. And imagine if you just rented like this idea. You rent a big room and you make it a mini childcare for that night, so that people that are going to these events can have their kids someplace safe with multiple trusted individuals, and then you go to the event so you're not close to your kids, so you don't constantly check on him or her and they're safe, but you're at the event. So that goes hand in hand with how do we make it more accessible for older people, right? Because logistically it can be hard to find somebody to watch your kid, but then you want to be close at the same time to the event. So that was one thing that I've been kind of playing around with. And if I were to do it, it would only be like if I was planning a huge event of like 1,000 people and I wanted to make something work for that specific event. It's not scalable on the small term,
But
small scale.
That's innovation right there.
Awesome.
That's innovation there.
I think a lot of people would take you up on that.
Oh, of course they would, and it would work because it would be like whatever you'd be whatever you'd pay a normal sitter, maybe even less because they're watching a bunch of kids, and like you just said, they're going to be asleep. So what is even you're not even really watching them because they're going to be asleep.
Well, yeah, I get
you. Be watching them, but they'll be asleep.
Yeah. They're not taking up a lot of your time and energy because they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. But I just love the idea that you're just trying to make. You're basically trying to teach everyone to stay young and fun.
Yeah, and the whole worthy thing is important too. Like that you're worthy of like all of the above. Like the luxury. Luxury is not scarce. You know that whole idea.
That's awesome.
You know what I love about that so much? Not just the fact of like you're taking this one brand and you're literally building other brands under your own umbrella, but you're also bringing back value to businesses and their patrons. And not only doing that is you are taking your 1,000% authentic love and giving it to people, breaking their false truths and giving them new truths that they can go out and they can be safe, they can have a fun time, they can be successful. You don't have to believe what society has told you needs to be X, Y, and Z. You're like, all right, it could be X, Y, and Z, but here's how it could be A, B, and C as well. Like you're going around and you're changing the narrative for everybody so that way they're not only, growing up as an adult, but they're also staying young and staying a kid, and they're not being as held back, so to speak. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, less limits. I don't want anyone to impose limitations on themselves. It's like the Jim Quick says, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. That's how that works.
That's a bar.
True. But like as you're saying that, Andy, I'm just thinking like, and again, I'm not passing judgment on anyone, but if you're thinking about like where do older people go? And like, what do you picture like older people at the bars or the clubs? It's normally like, again, not judging, but there's normally like a 60-year-old guy sitting by himself at a rundown fucking dive bar, just sitting in the corner, just watching, just drinking by himself. Like that to me, like, I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather be like the 6-year-old guy who was like busting his ass on the dance floor. Like, at any club or any bar, not just being sitting down looking all lonely like, oh, if I get up and dance with these young people, I'm going to look like the weirdo. So I really like it. I really like it.
And on top of that, like that made me think of, there's this place about a half an hour from here. I can't remember the exact area, but it's like this nonprofit, like location. It's like in the woods, and they have like a food truck sometimes. And there's also like, for some reason, like a trapeze rig there too, which is cool. But anyway, I was there, and there was an event called Burning Man. It's like a small version of Burning Man, which is exactly as the same as it's so cool. But that was like way over there, and there was like the tents and the fire spinning and all the things that you can imagine. But then like earlier in the night, there was like live music by this like bar food truck situation, and there was a bunch of people, older people, dancing and listening to music and having a great time. And this was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. And then the other event was happening at the same time because it was like a 3-day event. But my point is, like, there are events for that age bracket. There are things going on. There's locations. You just have to know where to find them. And maybe a bar on a main street is not the location, but maybe it is. But you just have to know where to look.
Yeah. But the fact that you're giving people that all in one spot to, again, you might not be advertising stuff for older people yet, but maybe it'll come across and you'll be like, oh, look at this place, it's 30 up, it just, but at least someone can go, oh, okay, I do want to go out this weekend, let me go on the Hudson Valley Nightlife and figure out what's going on. Like, I think
exactly. And that what you just said is exactly what I'm hoping for. I want people to check. I want them to see if I have a presence there, if this brand has a presence there, and what's going on and where. I want it to be, like a stamp of approval. Like, if I'm looking at it and I'm invested in it, it's because I've tried, I've gone, I've met the people. I think it's a decent place to go. That's the emphasis I want to make.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So right now, your main is New Paltz, and you've done like Albany and stuff like that. So now you're sooner than later you're going to be heading
I've hit a
over.
bunch of spots. I want to hit. There's about 20 minutes. There's a sister bar to one of the bars in New Paltz, and it's near Marist College and all that. I want to hit that scene soon.
Which one?
Because one of the DJs goes over there that I know, so that'll be like my in to start getting connected over there.
What
and,
club
and
or what bar?
It's Darby O'Gill's is what it's
Oh,
called.
okay, yeah,
Oh,
that's
Darby's.
right down the street. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that there was apparently like the last week I missed it. I should have gone, but there was like a crazy it was like back to college, and it was like a crazy weekend there. I missed, but I'm gonna go again.
Nice.
And when spring comes like this, I mean, honestly, me starting this in the wintertime is like the worst time to do it, yet it's working so well because the only thing you can really do is go to a bar. There's nothing else happening. But come springtime, my connections in like the Kingston area and this like Woodstock Kingston area, there's tons of stuff that happens up here closer to me that's very diverse and much more arts oriented and not just a loud bar at 2 a.m. So come spring, there's so many things going on.
Yeah, there's like all those like day events and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, yep.
I think it's cool that you're starting in the winter though, because think about it, like in the winter, the only place you can go is a bar, and like a lot of places, like it does pick up during the summer, so you're making all the connections now during the winter.
Exactly.
So once it picks up in the summer, you'll explode.
Exactly. That's exactly the plan. And I guess I'll pivot into the other part of this. I'm creating, as part of Hudson Valley Nightlife, I'm creating a second business underneath it, which I'm calling the Tomorrow Club. And what it is it's a mobile chill space that can be brought to events of any kind. And essentially imagine a field, and I have one of those glamping bell tents, if you're familiar with those, or anything similar to that. It's like a little section, maybe it's roped off, maybe it's not, just for the sake of making it its own unit. Inside the bell tent, there's comfortable places to sit. I literally bought fold-up mattresses that I can unfold. I'll have things like water, phone chargers, places to put your stuff, lockers, maybe if it's transportable, like lockable, like you can put a key or a keep code in there. Like I said, phone chargers, all of these little comfort things that are constantly forgotten about at events, bring them to all-night event so that people can feel comfort and feel safety while they're at the event. Because there's two reasons why at the core, there's two reasons why somebody doesn't go out. One, they don't feel like what they're going to get when they're there is worth leaving the house, or they don't feel like they're going to feel like safe and successful when they're at the event. So the first part of what I'm doing takes care of that, because I'm making it more welcome. I'm trying to show you that it's a good time. I'm trying to show you what is good in the moment. So like, oh, that place is good, we should go there. But then how do you address like people who just don't want to leave the comfort of their home? Bring the comforts to the event, right? You want to have a comfortable place to sit. You want to have a place to charge your phone. What do you do? What do you do if someone's being weird or creepy? Where do you go? You go here. I've been playing around with different ways to describe it. I thought like it's like a safety embassy. It's like a secret pod where you can go to like feel a sense of relief and relaxation. And
That's awesome.
and that is honestly almost more important to me than any of the other stuff, is just bringing this section there, so that people can experience it. They can take a cat nap, they can sit down, whatever it looks like. I don't know what it looks like. And that pivots into like all other things that are important to me, like intimacy, non-sexual physical intimacy, safety, love, acceptance, all of the above.
That's cool, because I know
That's
that
insane.
there's definitely been times that I'm like, oh, this is getting a little overwhelming. I don't really want to go home, so let me just kind of suck it up and just deal with it. But if I could go out and like check out for a little bit, recharge my like energy, not my phone, just like, recompose, and then, go back in, like that's really cool.
Exactly. And I've seen this done well. I've been to cool events where they've had this exact thing and it works and it really does the trick. And then I've seen places where there's not even a place to sit that's uncomfortable, let alone like comfortable, right? Like, and then you're just like, you're in clothes, maybe you're comfortable, maybe you're not. And then you're just worried about keeping all your stuff on your person. And you're just like, it just feels so compressing and like non-relaxing, and like the point
Mhm.
is to have a good time. And that's why people, and maybe that's why people feel like they need to drink so much to loosen up, because they're so tense in the environment. I'm just like, why? That doesn't need to be the case. It does not need to be the case. And then it also just it goes hand in hand with my other thought, like you're worthy of abundance. Like, who would have thought that you were worthy enough for there to be a literal bed for you to like chill out for 5 minutes on at an event in the middle of nowhere? Like, you deserve that, and it's possible to have that wealthy luxurious experience.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And the reason, oh, and let me just explain. So the reason why it's called the Tomorrow Club is because I want you to consider what you do tonight and how it will affect tomorrow, and be mindful about tomorrow and how you're going to take care of yourself now so that tomorrow is less miserable.
I like it.
That's dope. That's dope. I normally ask this question with everybody else, but for you, like, I mean, me and Rob have always known that you have been very like entrepreneurial, and you've always had like that mindset for business. But this seems like it's extreme from where we knew you, and you're doing so many good successful things. There's a lot of people out there who want to do even the smallest of things and can't get out of their mindset or can't get out of their fear. What is it that drives you to be able to be like, I can do this, no problem? What is your motivation behind everything?
I honestly have to say my mother. My mother raised me. I mean, for those that don't know, I did just lose my mother about a month ago, a little over a month ago, and my mother raised me to think big and to. She was the master facilitator, and I used to think that I was the best facilitator, making things happen for other people. But anytime I wanted to do anything, even if it was as simple as like we were snowed in on a snowstorm and I needed to figure out how to get a ride from here to here, like from point A to point B, like like one time she helped me like convince our plow guy to drive me to the gym, like super subtle things that she just taught me I was worthy of figuring it out, and that I was worthy of getting it done, and just constantly showing me that I had this, if I had this idea, that I could figure it out in any way. And that's really where it comes from for me. And I never get let down by the universe. It always falls into place for me, and I just know that things are going to work out. So you got to try. You have to do it. And like the whole worthiness thing is like critical. Like, not only are you going to try, but you're worthy of the outcome that you want to happen. And it's not too abundant. It's not like too selfish. You're not taking, it's just that you're worthy of it, period.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I I don't know what other questions to ask, because that was like a pretty solid
Yeah,
whammer.
I think that's pretty much all I got for you. I mean, this is evolving. I'm growing. I want to sell merchandise. I want to build the following. I want to make people feel safe. I want I want you to have a good time. I want you to get what you're looking for. I want you to be strong enough to ask for what you're looking for. And it's just, I've been doing this for so long. Like, I've been throwing parties and throwing events and making things happen for other people. It's just like, it really is what keeps me going, and it's what I want. And that it's just translated into this, and it just feels like perfectly aligned with who I've been for so long.
It's awesome.
I love
I
it.
agree. That's exactly. I mean, Andy already said it. We've known you for so long, and the entrepreneurial spirit has been there. And I've seen it at like firehouse,
Fight House.
Fight House. Yep. I've seen the photos and the videos from there for not for a while now.
Mhm.
So I've seen you doing, like, I've seen the fire dancers and all that stuff. So, like, I mean, you've been doing this for definitely a while, and the fact that you got all this going, I love it. I'm excited. Like you said, next time you're in Poughkeepsie, let us know.
I will.
Facts.
Where would everyone go to see the stuff, follow, help out, buy the sweatshirt, all that stuff?
Yep. So Instagram is primarily where we are at Hudson Valley Nightlife. Facebook, it's Hudson Valley Nightlife. Snapchat, it's also at Hudson Valley Nightlife. And you can follow my personal pages too if you want, at ARICK _with_and_a, Eric with an A. And we will have a website soon, which just to have some stuff on there, but primarily we'll probably keep it to social media and platforms like that. I did just start a TikTok, just to, you know, branch out, but the Instagram is the best way to find everything.
And that's where the merch is too?
Yep.
Awesome.
Dope.
Is there anything you want to plug? Any events coming out that we're going to put this out tomorrow? So anything coming up?
There's so much coming up. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I would just say, please take 5 seconds to look on the highlights of the Instagram page to see everything that's going on. I mean, that's where everything is going to be. So check it out there.
That's awesome. And I know that Eric over here, he follows the COVID protocols. So for those who are a little COVID sensitive or COVID, you know, safety, just know that he's also taking the safety of the COVID protocols into consideration. So go
Absolutely.
check out.
Twice vaccinated, of course.
Oh yeah. Did you get boosted yet? Boosted?
Not yet. I got to do that.
Oh, Taylor got boosted on Friday. She's still feeling it. But all right, cool.
Thanks,
Anything you want to?
Man, this was awesome. Like, just hearing more and learning more about it. Like, I'm proud of everything that you've accomplished and you continue to accomplish and continue to grow. It's awesome. Can't wait till you come in the area. I'm definitely going. I'm gonna follow you on Snapchat so I can see everything. Like, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right then, Eric, thanks so much for coming on and sharing it. We're gonna plug all the stuff on our socials for you, get people looking at it, and yeah, it was awesome to talk to you, dude.
Awesome.
All right,
Facts.
until next time.
Yeah,
We'll catch
see you
up.
later.